dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Keaton Hall. Barberville Police Chief Winston Tye confirmed a juvenile was identified and arrested after reportedly making comments about putting a bomb inside of Barberville High School. The person was not identified and details weren't released because it's an ongoing investigation. However, Tye said the juvenile was arrested and taken to a juvenile detention center. Police responded to the false threat Friday afternoon following an initial investigation. Officials confirmed all students were safe and evacuated from the school. 2 people were hospitalized with serious injuries following a golf cart accident in Richmond. Shortly before 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, the Madison County Sheriff's Office responded to the area of Dodd Road and Cruz Lane for a report of an accident involving 6 people on a golf cart. The accident resulted in 2 of the people sustaining life-threatening injuries. They're transported to UK Hospital. The driver of the golf cart, 20-year-old Caitlin Sparks, she was arrested and charged with leaving the scene of an accident, failure to render aid, wanton endangerment, and DUI. The incident is currently under investigation by the Madison County Sheriff's Office Reconstruction Unit. State police say a woman was taken to the hospital after an accidental shooting at the Kentucky State Fair on Saturday. According to police, 19-year-old Amari McClung was carrying a concealed handgun in the waistband of his pants unsecured. After it came loose, McClung tried to grab it where it accidentally went off and hit his girlfriend in the foot. She was taken to the University of Louisville Hospital and is expected to survive her injuries. Police arrested McClung and charged him with wanton endangerment and carrying a concealed deadly weapon. Former Commonwealths attorney Ronnie Goldie is scheduled to appear in federal court tomorrow. Goldie was arrested by FBI agents in Moorhead Friday morning. He's facing 14 charges, including bribery and fraud. Goldie was impeached and convicted by the state Senate earlier this year. Lawmakers convicted Goldie of doing favors for a woman facing prosecution in exchange for nude photos. His arraignment tomorrow is set for 4 p.m. Camp Blanton in Harlan County is asking for community support to raise money. WYMT's Jack Dimler spoke with a member on the Camp Blanton Trust to learn more about the camp and the purpose behind their fundraising efforts.
A camp built 90 years ago.
And it was built as part of a CCC program.
Donated to the Boy Scouts of Harlan County by Grover and Oxy Blanton.
The Scouts maintained it for over 50 years.
And later opened to everyone.
We take pride in the fact that, you know, a lot of weddings take place here, reunions, class reunions, family reunions. A lot of people have weddings here and showers and things like that. So it gets a lot more use by a wider group of people now than it did then.
Is looking to raise money.
So it takes a lot of money to maintain a camp like this and keep it looking this good and keeping it this beautiful.
Camp Blanton Trust started fundraising efforts in the spring to help maintain the camp and pay off some other expenses, like removing sediment from the lake.
When we have capital expenses like the project with the lake here, and then we'd like to construct a new cabin for rentals, those capital expenditures require extra money.
Expenses Howard hopes will bring in more revenue and interest.
And there's a demand for it. People, we rent to a lot of people from out of town that want to come in here and spend a few days in this beautiful scenery.
Seeking community support to maintain and improve a beautiful attraction. In Harlan, Jack Demler, WYMT Mountain News.
Howard says they're always accepting donations and their fundraising efforts have not stopped business. To learn more about the camp and their efforts to raise money, go to WYMT.com. Harlan's Burger Week is bringing in a lot of excitement for the city. The event kicks off tomorrow with 9 restaurants displaying unique recipes, all of burgers. Executive Director Brandon Pennington says they were inspired by other cities having their own burger weeks. He says he's excited for people to enjoy all they have to offer.
That cities are doing burger weeks all over the United States, especially some of my partners down here in southeastern Kentucky. And so We got really excited about the idea of Burger Week. Not only does this bring visitors into our area, but these visitors get to visit some of the restaurants that they may not have went to while they were here. It gives a little bit more promotion for those restaurants. It gives promotion for Harlan, and it really just invites people to come down and experience Harlan in an authentic way.
Pennington says the winner will receive a burger trophy. He adds that if you complete your passport, you can bring it back for a free t-shirt. For more information, you can visit our website, WYMT.com. Natural Bridge State Park hosted their annual Artisan Festival throughout the weekend. Over 40+ craft and vendors were set up at the Natural Bridge campground just outside the park, along with local music as well. Eileen O'Connor, who's the owner of One of a Chime, says they travel to shows all over Kentucky and have a loyal customer following.
We have a pretty big following of people who come back every year to buy from us, and they give them as gifts. They're great Christmas gifts, wedding gifts, housewarming gifts, and it's great. We love it. We love where it is. Brenda, who runs it, is amazing. The vendors are all friendly.
O'Connor also says they travel all over Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio with One of a Chime. If you miss the festival today, it's going to continue tomorrow from 10 to 7.
It was a warm Sunday across the mountains, and if you're a fan of the heat, you're going to love this forecast because more heat is on the way for much of this week. Here's a look at those high temperatures on Sunday. We should be in the middle 80s. We topped out in the upper 80s and lower 90s. 89 for Jackson, 90 in Somerset, and 91 over in Monticello earlier today. Temperatures tonight do fall into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We stay dry under that mainly clear sky, all thanks to high pressure that is parked over the mountains right now, and that will continue for much of this week, and that means low rain chances, plenty of sunshine, but also an increase in those temperatures once again. As you wake up and walk out the door on Monday, temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s, but check this out. A warm afternoon is on tap, highs back in the middle to lower 90s, and once you factor in that heat index, we could see those numbers in the upper 90s in some areas. Those details plus the look at your tropics coming up in just a few minutes. Keaton.
All right, thanks, Cameron. And as you were saying, the Commonwealth is preparing for warmer temperatures this week with plenty of days above 90 degrees. There are some things you can do to stay safe in these warmer temperatures. Experts recommend drinking a lot of water during the day to stay hydrated. It's also important to not stay outside for too long when the UV index and humidity levels are high. Lexington Emergency Management says they're also taking precautions to help people who are more vulnerable to the heat stay cool.
We're going to actually implement the city's Phase 1 heat plan to expand some of our services for the unhoused population and have some more cooling centers and locations to help people beat the heat during the day.
To stay up to date with the latest forecast on when to expect this surge of warmth, stick around till the next break, or you can download the WYMT First Alert weather app. Well, 12 days after the ferocious wildfires practically incinerated the town of Lahaina in Hawaii, the grim task goes on to find the missing. Jordan Segundo reports from Maui, where the death toll has now reached at least 114 people.
Teams with cadaver dogs have covered more than 85% of the area scorched in Lahaina, but the governor is preparing residents for many more days of searching.
Now we go into the larger buildings, which require peeling back some of the floors and structures. That last 15% could take weeks.
More than 1,000 people remain missing, and officials say because of the intense heat of the fire, some victims may never be identified.
I'm heartbroken over everything that's happened.
Ramon Garcia lives in Utah but grew up in Lahaina. He felt compelled to come back to show his support.
It's just so sad to see that they don't have homes to go home to anymore. You know, their whole lives are here and memories, and
As the work here moves forward, frustration is mounting over the controversial decision not to sound the emergency sirens.
He didn't have any messages or any warnings at all that the fire was coming until the police officer was actually in my neighborhood. I want to see changes. There needs to be a better emergency system here put in place.
Some of the survivors will get a chance to meet President Biden Monday. He'll be here to survey the devastation and to thank first responders and volunteers for all of their hard work. Jordan Segundo, CBS News, Lahaina, Maui.
Musicians from various Hawaii islands are holding a benefit concert Sunday to raise money for victims. Well, as Maui recovers from those deadly wildfires, it has a new worry on its hand. Authorities in Hawaii are preparing for possible flooding and mudslides from post-tropical cyclone Fernanda. The storm is expected to approach Hawaii late today. Workers are putting in extra protection around storm drains in Lahaina, which was devastated by the wildfires. The U.S. Coast Guard has set up booms around the island to reduce any runoff and prevent any hazardous material from impacting the environment. Coming up at 11, Hurricane Hilary wasn't the only problem Southern Californians were dealing with today, as an earthquake also hit the Golden State.
Plus, high pressure looks to bring more heat and low rain chances into this week. Those details coming up after this break.